Hope everyone is having a fantastic day today. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. Something that I want to talk about today is there's so many video topics that I have talked about and that I even have yet to talk about as well. So many things that I've been through, so many personal things, so many things that I can give a personal experience, share my personal experience and give advice or some sort of experience that you're not going through it alone. And there's so many things that I want to talk about and continue to talk about because I think it's very important as humans, and I've recognized this within myself. You need to feel everything until you don't feel it anymore. And you may be like, what do you mean by that? I think it's very important that everything that you have been through, experience, that you feel, it's important for you to process it. Fully leaning into the experience, into the feeling, into the emotion without having to fight it. When you allow yourself to experience it completely and feel how you feel and the emotions completely, it's almost like it signals your nervous system and your body and just your mental and emotional state that it's okay to move past this and that you're healing and that you're growing and you're evolving past what you went through, rather than holding it in, keeping those feelings or what you went through and experiences locked in a safe, and it eventually starts eating away at your mental, your emotional, and your physical state. Because I find it very interesting that your trauma and stress and anxiety and all the things that you've been through, whatever it is, good or bad, it can hide in your body, especially the negative things, until one day all of a sudden you have all these health problems because you're holding in your emotions and your feelings and these experiences, and it's causing your body, your physical body, actual, you start getting health problems basically. And what I want to say is, it's just, we have normalized the coping mechanism of ignoring what we're going through or using something as a distraction, whether it's food, whether it's people, clothes, something material, money, to distract yourself from maybe how you're feeling, the inner work, the things you've experienced in life, your emotions. I mean, yeah, it's helpful for a short period of time. It does not give you that lasting long term help. And if people are sad, people are angry, people are feeling maybe an emotion, sometimes people use a distraction to get their mind off of it, whether that's shopping, whether that's being around people. I don't know. I do not know. But a lot of the times, even I've experienced this, you have all these people around you to quiet the noise of what you're thinking and how you feel mentally on the inside. And then when you go home or when you're alone, all that comes back to your head, and those voices and that feeling and those emotions come back to you when you no longer have those people around you. And I feel like we as humans, we do not like to feel certain kinds of emotions and feelings. Wouldn't be surprised there's stigmas around them for you not to be express how you feel and feel a certain kind of way because society may talk down on it, people around you may talk down on it. It's almost like we put ourselves in this survival mode where when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel sad, we feel stressed out, traumatized, something happened to us in a negative way, we instinctively, immediately, our mental and emotional state, we kind of put how we feel on the back burner, and we try to shut out how we really feel or don't want to process what happened, which eventually may cause a lot of numbness. It causes a lot of disassociation, meaning you don't want to acknowledge how you feel, and you use it as a shield to protect yourself from what you went through and whatever trauma you went through and the pain. And it's almost like, the numbness, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. When you stop trying to maybe sugarcoat or hide, or in a way, in a sense, trying to numb the pain of what you're going through, and then maybe you actually recognize, or whatever feeling that you're going through in life, you know, I feel like that's what we need as humans right now. rightfully so, people have gone through a lot. And people are going through a lot right now. People are going through a lot. So it's at the hands of maybe themselves, something that they did, or somebody else. And like I said, we have a lot of coping mechanisms out there. And I feel as though people are really struggling. And honestly, it's very, very sad what a lot of people are going through. And, that people do not have a safe space to recognize how they feel, or someone that allows them to open up that parts of them where they can talk about it, or they just feel safe that they can actually express it and not use things to kind of shut it down or shut that part of you out, or so that you don't feel it anymore, that numbness. You try to do as much as you can to separate yourself from the experience of what you went through and the pain and the trauma. I think it's very, I'm not saying that, this, you have to do this. I'm not saying that, if you don't do this, something's wrong with you. But what I'm trying to say is, it's just very important. I've recognized, for me personally at least, it's very important for you to feel it all and what you went through, the pain, everything, until you don't feel it anymore. And one way I think you can process a lot of things that you went through, this numbness, even the emotions that you feel that you don't want to bring up, or they're bubbling beneath the surface. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is that curiosity is key. I started asking myself, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What is it? Where do I feel it in my body? Is it in my heart? Is it in my mind? Is it in my stomach? What emotion what is this emotion trying to tell me? What emotion even is it? When have I felt this way before? Why do I feel this way? Just asking myself those pointed questions and just being real with myself, even mentally. And this is the thing, observe how you feel, but you don't have to always put a label or always be so judgmental to the things how you're feeling. Just sit comfortably in the moment, maybe in some alone time. How does your body feel? What are you feeling in this moment? And do you feel just I've learned that you have to observe a lot of the things that your feelings, your emotions, without always trying to be so quick to fix them. Just maybe just feel it. Just I'm losing my words here. But that's what I was going to say. I feel like sometimes, you know, some will say don't talk about it, or don't harp on it for too long, or just move on, get past it. Honestly, I feel like sometimes when you process something, that is sometimes the only way that you can get through something. So that when you identify what you feel, when you identify what emotion that is, or even the emotion what is beneath the initial emotion, because I learned this even in therapy. There's an emotional color wheel. Anger may have frustration behind it, but that frustration may be due to fear, maybe due to rejection, maybe fear of your insecurities, embarrassment, or more, or even sadness, maybe because in depression, or just, well, not depression, but sadness, maybe due to guilt, maybe due to abandonment, maybe due to despair. That may be, you may feel this way because you don't, you're vulnerable, you feel empty, you feel inferior, you feel ashamed, you feel victimized, and more. Fear may even be insecurities, maybe anxiety, maybe rejection, maybe humiliation. But you may feel those things maybe due to feeling you feel inadequate, you feel alienated, you feel distanced, you feel ridiculed, you feel overwhelmed, you feel worthless. And I feel it's like when you really start opening up and are real with yourself, and you truly feel every level of emotion, whatever it is you're feeling, like I said, not necessarily always having to label maybe your emotion, just the main thing is just feeling it. I feel like that opens up the door to so much healing, because it did for me, even with or without the labels of labeling the emotion or feeling. Just feel how you feel. What do you feel? Don't have to label it, just sit in it and what you feel. Almost granting yourself permission and to feel what you're feeling, and not being harsh on yourself. Accepting an emotion doesn't mean that you have to agree with it, doesn't mean it has to stay there for forever in that moment that you're in. But I feel like it's always about acknowledging, and it's always about awareness without always rushing past what you're feeling and smoothing it over and trying to not necessarily make excuses for it, but just trying to sweep it under the rug so you don't have to deal with it and don't want to come to terms with that, what you're actually feeling. Rather than pushing how you feel away because it's uncomfortable and you don't want to acknowledge it, and it's something that you just not in a safe space or in a safe place for you to even acknowledge it. I think it's just very important sometimes for you to let a lot of your emotions and your feelings just simply exist without a label or with a label. It's up to you. What are these emotions trying to tell me? Last time I felt this way, how did I deal with it? Why am I feeling this way? Or last time I felt this way, how I dealt with it, did it help? Can I'm feeling this way right now. What does this mean? Do I need support? Do I need help? Do I need to go to therapy? Why do I feel this way? Where is this coming from? When I feel this way, I'm around this. So why do I feel this way when I'm around this? What what is this trying to get my attention about? Where do I feel this emotion in my body? Is it in my chest? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my head? Is it in my throat? What is this emotion trying to tell me? What else? What's another word? Do I feel vulnerable? Do I feel safe? Do I feel fearful? Do I feel angry, upset? And if I feel these things, what do I need? Do I need love? Do I need validation? Do I need acceptance? Do I need forgiveness? Do I need just a rest to relax? Do I need a little space of some silence, some solitude? I think it's just very important that we nurture the feeling, reminding yourself that just because you feel a certain kind of way doesn't mean that you are your feelings. Feelings, they come and go. When you're angry, that you're not going to be angry for the rest of your life. When you're sad, you're not going to be sad for the rest of your life. When you're happy, you're not going to be happy for the rest of your life. You get what I mean? Things happen, things change, feelings come and go. I think it's just very important for you to be kind to yourself. How do you let go of certain emotions, or how do you get certain emotions back? Do you go for a walk? Do you talk to somebody? Do you go to therapy? Do you journal? Do you play with your animals, your pets? Do you get some ice cream, a cookie? What do you do to make yourself feel these emotions, or maybe even process your emotions, or just I don't know. Who knows? Just what do you do? What are some things that you do? The main goal of what I'm trying to say is I feel like letting yourself feel your emotions and whatever it is you're going through, I think that is one of the best things that you can do for yourself until it no longer owns you. Do you allow yourself to sit with your feelings and your emotions without having to rush to fix it or sweep it under the rug or make um, excuses for it or use a coping mechanism? How about you? And I mean, it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend and act like, well, I feel all these emotions because of this, and this. And what are you talking about? It's hard for me to feel. I'm not saying that if you don't do this, something's wrong with you. I'm just having an open conversation that it's just very important to feel how you feel and feel it because it is important. Some people think that you're strong. Some people think that sometimes you're strong because you stay silent and you allow whatever it is to happen to you and you stay unbothered. Sometimes I feel like that's avoidance dressed up as growth. You're avoiding whatever it is happening, or whatever it is happening to you, or whatever it is you're feeling, and you're saying that, oh, it's growth because I'm not allowing this to bother me, but deep down maybe it is, but you just don't want to admit that it is. you know you think that maybe you're fine, you're okay, until maybe something happens to you or someone does something to you, and you may even have a breakdown. You may be forced to confront with how you feel and why you feel this way. This too, it may, like I said earlier, you keep on ignoring how you feel for so long, it may show up in your health, it may show up in your relationships, your sleep, You may become very reactive when you speak to people, when you talk to people, and more. It's interesting how things can wind up hiding in your body and who you are as a human being if you do not just recognize it. At least I'm not saying you got to confront it to fix it, but just at least just acknowledge it. You may start reacting from a place of trauma, of pain, of unresolved emotions and feelings and experiences, something that happened to you. And you may wind up thinking that this person is the exact same way because of someone that hurt you before and you never processed it. It's just important for you to feel it. It's letting the anger move through your body without being shameful, without being hard on yourself that for feeling this way. It's letting sadness move through your body without feeling shame, embarrassment, without saying, oh, I'm being traumatic or I'm doing too much. Same thing with disappointments, allowing yourself to sit with maybe disappointment or fear or rejection, ridicule, I don't know, without labeling yourself as, oh, you crazy, or what are you doing that for? Just feeling everything, because your body learns that it doesn't have to scream in order for it to be heard. Listen to yourself, listen to how you feel, your mental, your emotional, physical state, spiritual state, psychological state, all the states. You know, Stop letting the emotions run the show because you're pushing them away and you don't want to admit or you don't want to feel what you feel because it's so heavy. And yeah, like I said earlier, it's not going to be no easy one and done because a lot of people have been through a lot of rough things in life. But, it's like I said, it's not going to be no easy task, but listen to how you feel or feel how you're feeling, even though it's hard. You know, what was I going to say? My therapist one time, she was like, she said, Olivia, you know what? She was